We're also live on YouTube now. So all the participants who get onto YouTube, we are live on YouTube. So when do we expect the things to start getting a little better, Vivek, from a lockdown perspective? Do you see changes happening?
Yeah, I've been in touch with some officers of the government, and it seems that some areas of India are doing better than others, obviously. So Goa and Kerala are obviously in the forefront. So it seems like some parts of India may open up pretty soon.
Fantastic. I'll just one small message I need to type. Okay, lovely. I think we have Bhuvana over here from Noida International Public School. So good morning. I would say teachers and others from the Noida International Public School. Thank you very much. It's 9:30. I guess we'll wait for another half a minute. I think that's the Indian stretchable time we have nowadays, half a minute from the earlier couple of minutes we used to have. So we'll wait for half a minute and we then start with Vivek. Like I said, I'm going to be your co-host and I'll quickly introduce Vivek in a minute or 30 seconds, I said. Okay, let's go live, Vivek. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. My name is Atul Khosla. I am the founder and Pro-Vice Chancellor of Shoolini University in Kasoli Hills, Solan, Himachal Pradesh. Shoolini, as you might know, is one of India's leading research-centric, innovation-centric universities. Quickly, my background. I am a BTech from IIT Kanpur, an MBA from a school called Jamnalal Bajaj in Bombay. I spent 25 years in the industry, in the corporate sector across 20 different countries. And 2013, I moved full-time to teaching. With me is the very illustrious and a dear friend, Vivek Atray. Vivek, as you already know, is an ex-IAS officer. He's had very, very senior positions in the government, including building the IT park of Chandigarh, which is, I think, one of his key achievements out of all the different achievements that he has. And we've actually got to ask him, all his exciting projects that he's had in the past. Vivek is also a TEDx speaker. And for me, more importantly, he's also a visiting faculty at Shoolini University and advisor to me and to Shoolini. So once again, welcome everyone from the Noida International Public School. We are delighted to be here with you guys. Hopefully over the next half an hour to 45 minutes, we will take you through our experiences of the topic of managing stress. It's been a tough time. COVID and Corona, no one knew what's really that's going to happen, but it's brought in new opportunities, new challenges to all of us. Feel free to ask questions, everyone. We have the chatbot open, we have the Q&A open. We also have the YouTube live channel open, so you can chat on that, ask questions on that. So I'm going to start the first question, Vivek. Tell us a bit about yourself. Tell us about your motivation in life, how you grew up, where you grew up, and how did you get into this whole, I know as an IS officer, you had to manage stress, but I also know that you're big time into meditation, you're big time into writing, you've written a few books. How did you get into this? Tell us your story. And I think after that, I'll request you to get into your discourse on the topic.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Atul Khosla. First, let me say what a pleasure it is to be here early morning. And Shoolini has organized this interaction. Thank you, Shoolini University. And my own association with Shoolini University is so pleasant and so delightful. I am a visiting professor, as you said, and it's always a pleasure to interact. So Shoolini University is, this initiative to reach out to schools, and Noida International Public School today. I welcome all the participants from Noida International Public School. And Atul, thank you for the warm introduction. I'd like to just say that life for me started off when I was born in Delhi. My parents were transferred here and there. My father was a police officer. I was in a regular kid. I lived 3 years in England as well as a child. So that was the only difference from anyone else. Usual bringing up in Delhi and Chandigarh. I shifted to Chandigarh and started playing cricket very seriously. I became a bit of an all-rounder because I was okay in studies and cricket as well. And I started doing some writing early in my college days. I went to engineering college in NIT Kurukshetra. And in NIT Kurukshetra, I did electronics and communication. Then after that, I actually got into the Haryana Civil Services. My father passed away in service. So I was in the HCS for 19 years and got promoted to the IAS and served there for 7 years. And as you said, I had to face a lot of stress in the service, but it was a good innings. I enjoyed myself. I had a lot of accolades and goodwill. And also, I learned on the job, and lots of things came to me, which I now speak about. So, towards the end of my career in service, I decided I should take an early break, rather, I should take voluntary retirement. And I became a motivational speaker at the age of 50 or so. That is 3 years ago. And I started speaking to audiences all over India. That is the youth mainly, but I also speak to CEOs and industry and educationists and academicians. That's why we're here. So this is a brief background. I would like to start the topic now. And those of you, as Atul said, who would like to ask questions, please keep typing out your questions. And it'd be nice to interact with you. This is a session on stress management in the times of a crisis. And I'd just like to start off by saying that all of us are human beings and we will go through stresses and strains and worries and fears. It is not possible to be completely gung-ho and positive at all times. But some people are more positive than others. Some people are more boisterous and enthusiastic, and others are at times dull and often given to cynicism and criticism. So we need to choose which one we want to be. Of course, it is possible for us to spend most of our days being positive, and at times we feel low, it's okay, especially nowadays when there's a big worry in the country, in the world. But there are people who are really looking forward to what is to come and making the best of this time. So let's talk about where this action is taking place. All of you know that the big C is enveloping the world, and this big C, I don't need to name it. It is a virus which is creating havoc in countries, but we know that. So when we focus on negative news, when we keep focusing on what is going wrong in the country, and we keep sharing stories about negative news, and we keep spreading maybe worry and fear, then we are contributing negatively to the country and to the society. Whereas if we choose to pull out stories and anecdotes and incidents which are of human character, human endeavor, heroes from the front line, and we talk about those people who are actually making a positive difference to society, and we applaud them, we share their stories. For example, there's a little girl on Twitter, a very popular girl now, who's raising lakhs of rupees through her sketches. So I saw this little girl sketching and sketching and sketching, and because she's going viral on Twitter, her sketches are selling so well, and people are donating for every sketch that she makes, and these go to the relief fund. There are so many things that we can do which add to the positivity and don't add to the negativity. So the first thing to talk about is the mind, and where is our stress coming from? Is it coming from external factors or is it coming from within? Now, you are all teachers, and many of you are very experienced. You started out your careers like me, like Atul. I'm sure you are very enthusiastic at the time, wanted to be world beaters, wanted to do things, make a difference, wanted to teach with enthusiasm, make a difference to the country, and try and instill in the young people, children, the values and the intelligence and the knowledge that they need to be good citizens of the country. But somewhere down the line, what happens is that our morale, our motivation, our enthusiasm, our inspiration, it somewhere takes a beating. And somewhere life knocks us down after 10 years, 12 years, 15 years, or 20 years. We don't have the same enthusiasm as we had earlier. We become a little cynical. So if we talk about the big C, which is enveloping the world, that is one C. But I'm going to tell you that cynicism, that is being negative all the time, is also a worry in the world. And even at this time, when people should be contributing towards being more positive, there are many people contributing towards cynicism. So if we're watching too much of TV news, for example, debates on TV and analysis and criticism, then we are also going to be feeling the same way. So it is better to watch something like National Geographic, watch old sports matches, watch beautiful films, and read something. One way to combat stress in this time is to read those books which you could not read earlier, or reread those books which you loved, and you really wanted to one day read them again. There are so many things that books tell us, and as teachers, we often stop reading. As educationists, we think that we have no time, we've already learned what we had to. But this is an opportunity now to refresh our minds, our knowledge, our know how, and our creativity. So the more we read, the more we delve into these great books which we might have lying at home. For example, I've got over here, I've got something called Strange Stories, Amazing Facts by Reader's Digest. I never had the chance to look at it, but now I've suddenly started picking into it, going into it, and there are so many beautiful things in that. And my favorite book is also lying here, and this is the autobiography of a yogi. And this is the book which is also founded by, authored by Paramhansa Yogananda. And Yogananda ji is also the inspiration for the Library and Resource Center at Shoolini University. So we basically have to keep reading great books. In fact, Paramahansa Yogananda gives us a great quote, which is, be calmly active and actively calm. Be calmly active and actively calm. Now let's talk about this quote. We are talking about stress management. And in stress management, as I said, stress comes from the mind. But there are some people who are calm under pressure, who remain calm under tension and pressure. They don't seem to be ruffled by anything. So don't we admire such people who remain unruffled, who remain calm and cool even under a crisis? Whereas we, perhaps, let's talk about, let's say me, if I get irritated and restless and panicky at the smallest thing, somewhere I'm losing the battle. So the smallest thing might be, okay, my daughter is 5 minutes late now, or maybe 10 minutes late, and I'm worrying. Okay, I'm worrying, but if it's leading to panic and she shows up, let's say 20 minutes late, she arrives, and I'm losing my temper at her, then she is not very cool, I'm not very cool, the atmosphere becomes tense. Nowadays, of course, in the lockdown, nobody can go and come. Nobody's late for anything unless they're taking time in the bathroom or they're taking time waking up. But in normal life, we get stressed out by little things like this. Often the worries are not really worth pondering over. So be calmly active and actively calm. Thank you. I see Mr. Dayaram Yadav is writing down these quotes for all panelists, and that is good for your retention. So calmly active means that I am active. Supposing I'm in the kitchen, supposing I'm in my workplace, I'm on my computer, supposing I'm in a hurry to submit some assignment or report or some evaluation. I am tense because my deadline is approaching, but my mind will work better if the mind is calm. So the quality of my work depends on how unruffled my mind is. Let's take the example of a pond. You've seen a pond of water, a water body. If the water body is still, then the reflection of the moon is clearly visible in the water. But if we throw a pebble into the water and there are ripples, there is movement in the water, then the image of the moon is distorted. It's simple as that. So if the image of the moon is distorted, we can't see it clearly. Our mind is similar. It's like that water body. So if my mind is not still, it is restless because of certain things, I will not be able to see the picture before me clearly. I will not be able to take the right decision. The picture of life gets blurred when my mind is restless or rash. So, what do I need to do? I need to really, really focus on stilling these little ripples in my mind. I may be restless at the background, I may be restless in the foreground of my mind, and that leads to a lot of tension and wrong decisions. We have often said something which we regret. I didn't want to say something to my colleague, but because I was in a huff, because my temper was going up, because I was restless, I said something, I regret it later. That colleague is also feeling bad about what I said. I am feeling guilty about what I said, or maybe I'm not feeling guilty. There are people whose language becomes bad to worse, but they don't even feel guilty about it because they were in a high blood pressure situation. They could not keep calm and they said something which they should not have. So, this is something which we need to really work on. I've got a question about female teachers. We'll take it a little later. What we're going to do is also to focus on how we can remain calmly active, how we can retain that stillness and balance of the mind. So, one reason, one trick rather, which I would give you is that you can do this offline. Offline means when you are in a tense situation, it is very difficult to tell yourself, okay, calm down, calm down, calm down. You can try that, but it is better to practice when you're not in the middle, which means that you are in net practice. You are in practice at a time when you are not angry, not in a restless situation. You are doing something very nice, which you love doing. At that time, you deliberately tell yourself, this is how I want to be, even during that crisis. And when you prepare yourself mentally like that, then when you go into that crisis situation, and mini crises come every day. So you're in the school, you have to meet children, you have to maybe meet parents, maybe the principal will call you, something is happening in a hurry, or maybe your home front is something is, an emergency is there, your children have something to do, your husband has asked you to do something, or you have asked your husband to do something and he's not doing it. So there are so many things which can go wrong in a day. And these things would probably lead to a situation where you are restless. So when you practice calmness offline, that is when you are not in the middle of that situation, you will tell yourself that next time I will not lose my cool, I will remain relatively balanced. It is very difficult for human beings to be totally calm, but at times we can be calmer than we are. So notice yourself, analyze your mind, introspect at the end of the day or on a Sunday, or these days, every day is a Sunday, as we know, we are in lockdown. So analyze and introspect. What are the weaknesses which are impeding you? And be very harsh on yourself, harsh on your own self. Criticize yourself and tell yourself that this is something which you should not do. Next time, don't say such a thing to such and such person, because you actually normally say these things to people who matter. So what happens at the end of a busy day? We have been very nice to our bosses, we've been very okay with our colleagues, and we go home and we start shouting at the children, or we start shouting at spouses. So what happens is that these are the people who love us, these are the people whom we love. But where do we take out our restlessness and irritability and anger and negativity? We take it out at the family. So it is a situation which we need to analyze and introspect. Okay, what are the ways to deal with stress apart from this? We know that stress leads to bodily and mental problems. There are so many things that are difficult in the mind, and they lead to stress, and they lead to a body which is also not well. We know that most ailments come from stress these days. Critical ailments, they come from stress. So what can we do? We can do more in sports. We can be more physically active, more brisk walks, runs, badminton, table tennis. Take out your physical energy outdoors or in the gym. I prefer outdoors, but if you prefer the gym, it's okay with me. These days, gyms are also closed. You have to do them at home. So at home, do some push-ups, do some sit-ups, do some yoga, do some walking in place or running on the spot. and get out that extra energy. That is one thing, one way to remain calm. Because when your energy is physically dissipated in physical exercise, then you will not store it up to be used at negative moments when you feel like shouting and get out all that energy over there. The second way and most important way is to be mindful and to be concentrating. Now, being mindful and concentrating means that you are reading carefully a book, you are focusing only on that moment. So, practice mindfulness. Mindfulness means living in the present moment. So, if I'm listening to a lecture and my mind is on day after tomorrow, or I'm delivering a lecture and in the middle I'm thinking about my whatever I have to do later, or whatever somebody said to me day before yesterday, that means my mind is not in the present, it is scattered. It is like birds before a hunter, as is said in the autobiography of a yogi. My mind is in the future or in the past. So what happens to me? I don't focus on the present. By focusing on the present moment, you will find you become more calm. Focus on the present. Do that little thing which you are doing with full concentration. Yogananji also said, be like the pendulum. The pendulum swings from one side to another side, and gradually it becomes slower and it swings back to the center of calmness. So when you have to swing into action, you swing to one side and you start getting busy with whatever you have. The moment your work is over for that period, you become calm like the pendulum. So you swing on both sides, but you become calm like the pendulum. So if your mind can be like the pendulum, and whenever you get a pause, you swing it back to mindfulness, to calmness. In fact, these pauses are really, really important. So in the middle of a busy day, take out 2 minutes for yourself every hour or every 2 hours. Even if it's a water break, if it's a washroom break, calm yourself deliberately down at that time. So try and pause your mind from the flurry of worries. This flurry of worries will keep coming. Nowadays, you are at home. You have more opportunity to calm it down. So let me bring you also to meditation, which Atul Khosla mentioned. Meditation is something which will make you a much calmer person. All of us pray. Indians are prone to praying. We believe in God. 99.99% of us, we sit down and pray. When we pray, we also should pray with sincerity, with depth, with intensity. It should not be, okay, God, yeah, thank you very much. Okay, please look after us. I pray. And then you run to something else. Give time to God. Give time to your own mind and heart. So prayer is important, but meditation is even more important. So when you are meditating, you are actually listening to God. When you're praying, you're talking to God. That is what the saint said. So if you sit down and you calm your mind in meditation, what we will do right now, in fact, is a 30-second practice of meditation. You are wherever you are, and I'm over here. I'll just tell you what we are going to do. First, listen to what I'm saying, and then we practice it for 30 to 45 seconds. This meditation technique is very useful. It's very simple. So all you have to do, after you close your eyes, you will focus at the center of your eyebrows. Between your eyebrows, the place where ladies wear a bindi, that is the kutastha, and that is the Christ consciousness or Krishna consciousness, and that is where we can feel the presence of God. It's a spiritual aspect, it's not a religious aspect. So you have to basically focus here and calm your breath. How do you calm your breath? You watch your breath. That means you watch the flow of breath, in the sense you notice the breath is coming in and the breath is going out. You can say a mantra along with it or anything you want, but you don't need to, it's up to you. So we'll start this 45-second exercise now, in which I will keep talking a little bit at times just to guide you, but you stay silent and you keep focusing between your eyebrows and on your breath coming in and out. We start this practice now. Just sit straight, close your eyes, and start for 45 seconds. While you're doing this, try and bring your mind back to your breath if it goes away. Don't control your breath. Let it flow on its own. If thoughts are coming, tell them to go away for a while. Just focus on your breath. Thank you. That was, I think, a very short period of meditation. But if you can do this for 10 minutes a day, if you can do it even for 5 minutes or 2 minutes a time, you will benefit. Two things happen in this meditation. The first thing that happens is that your breath rate of breathing becomes calmer and slower. That rate of breathing will take you to calmness because your mind will not wander that much and your breath will become slower. So the mind becomes calmer, the breath becomes calmer. It is a natural phenomenon. You only have to focus on your breath. And again, I'll repeat, don't control your breath, just let it flow normally. So this kind of technique is a breathing technique. It is a concentration technique, but it is also meditation. So the definition of meditation is basically concentration on God and spiritual aspects. But meditation can be done even by a busy householder. It doesn't have to be done under a tree or in the jungle. It can be done in your bus, even if there is noise. It can be done in the car, if you're not driving, of course. And it can be done whenever you have a break. So whenever you have a break in the middle of the day, also do this, morning and evening. These are the techniques of calmness. The more you meditate, the more your mind will be calm. Another thing to do is to analyze what makes you angry and upset. So if there is so much stress that there are 6 things which, let's list them down. Supposing one of them is that somebody you don't get on with keeps on saying something to you. Number 2 could be that your child is not listening to you. Number 3 could be that you are always late for work. Number 4 could be that your person who has to clean your table doesn't clean it properly. So let's say these are the 4 things. Now, out of these 4 things, we can probably eliminate 2. Your person doesn't clean the table properly and you lose your cool every day in the office or whatever. That is something which you can avoid. He doesn't clean it properly, tell him firmly, tell him again, try to make him understand. He doesn't understand, don't lose your cool. It is not a matter of life and death. It's not important. You're getting late for work, you're always restless and panicky. Try to be 5 minutes early. Make it a point to be 5 minutes before time. In the army, they say that 9:30 means 9:20. Today also, when we started at 9:30, we were here at 9:20. In fact, I was a few minutes late, but we were ready on time. So this is how we have to eliminate points of restlessness and stress. And what are the biggest stresses of life? That will my child get a good college? Will my child get a good placement? Will this particular promotion come to me? Will I get that new job? Whatever it is. So why are we stressed? Because we worry whether that will happen or not happen. We are fearing failure. We fear the fact that this may go wrong. This may not happen. The more we think like that, the more chances are that it will go wrong. So we have to focus on success. We have to focus on being positive. In fact, where does the thought of success come from? It comes from within. And what is success? Success is happiness. And whatever doesn't give us happiness, it is not success. There is a person who is the most powerful person in the world today. He's the most powerful man in the world. You know who I'm speaking about. And of course, these are stressful times. But even at the best of times, that most powerful person in the world does not look happy. What is the point of success and power if it doesn't make you happy? And if he's not happy now, is he going to be happy 6 years later? Doubtful. So we need to focus on the pluses in our life, be grateful for them, be happy with what we have, and yes, strive for more and better, be ambitious for more and better. So what do we worry about? that this may not happen, that may not happen. So when we focus on failure, we are trying to, we are actually leading to failure. So my book is here, and this book is Finding Success Within. So when you talk about finding success within, it means that it has just come actually, Finding Success Within, with 52 life skills for young Indians. And this is a book where I talk about the fact that we win the battle of life or lose the battle of life from within. It's not external factors. The same post or appointment or the same victory may make one person happy and content, the other person not so happy, and he doesn't care. Or he's looking for other things and not really relishing what he has. So finding success within is what we should be looking for. And we may be successful in life in worldly terms, but we may not be successful from within. Then there's no point. So find time to savor your success. Find time to enjoy that success. Find time to enjoy what you have, and be mindful of the fact that this period of time, where we are under lockdown, will not keep coming. And if this lockdown is not going to help you to improve yourself, then you won't find time later. So try and improve. We are all imperfect. I spoke at my book launch about imperfection. There is a perfect world somewhere else. This world on our planet, the earth, is not a perfect world. Of course, nature is perfect. Nature knows when to blossom, when to bring the flowers, the fruit, when to drop the leaves. It knows perfectly well what to do. Until and unless man interferes with nature, it works like clockwork. The bird knows what to do, the animal knows what to do. It is only the human being who thinks he's too smart and starts tampering with what is happening in nature. Nature is perfect, but man and his situations are imperfect. We cannot predict what is going to happen tomorrow or day after. We cannot always say that this will lead to this. It doesn't happen that way. So in this imperfect world, we don't have to feel scared. We don't have to feel negative about it. We have to know that life is unpredictable. We will lead it with the best that we have. We will lead it with the best qualities that we have. We will lead it with positivity and calmness. And we will be happy with what we have. Where is happiness coming from? Happiness comes from within. I often go to schools and colleges and talk to children. And children give me this answer. They say, they know that the happiness comes from within. It doesn't come from a new cell phone, or it doesn't come from eating chocolates or going for a date or whatever it is. That is only temporary. That happiness is temporary. Permanent happiness comes from within. If we search for happiness within, if we do that consciously, we will find at the end of the day we have much to be grateful for. I see Atul Khosla has appeared on the screen. And Atul, are we going to a question phase now?
I think why don't you summarize your beautiful talk, Vivek, and then we can get into a Q&A with a lovely audience.
Sure, I'll do that. And that is absolutely the right thing to do. So to summarize what I've said, we can handle stress if we are determined to analyze what makes us stressful. So this is a period where we are locked down. We need to introspect and list out those points which are negative in us or the qualities on which we need to improve. And we need to practice calmness offline. Offline means that when we are not in the thick of things, when we are not in the situation where people are bothering us or we are likely to get stressed out. So when you are cool and calm and happy, that is the time to analyze yourself as to what makes you unhappy and stressed out. So in that list of 6 or 7 items, eliminate 2 or 3 of them from your life. The rest of them will remain, the top ones, but try and reduce the impact of negativity that they give you. So these are the things that I wanted to share with you. I've also shared with you that there is a big C which we need to avoid, and it's not the virus will go away, but cynicism, negativity, criticism of others is something we need to avoid. So let's focus on positives and happiness. That is success.
Thank you, Vivek. Before we go into the audience, a couple of questions are coming in my mind, and these are the questions which have been coming on every webinar that we give together that we're giving. So once again, I think for the audience who came late, my name is Atul Khosla, and I'm the Pro Vice Chancellor of Shoolini University in Kasoli Hills. We are a deep research and innovation-led university over here to make great speakers and gurus like Vivek in front of you. Vivek is also a visiting professor at Shoolini, and we're so delighted and thankful to the participants and also to Vivek to be here today. So Vivek, Renu asked this question, but I think it's so relevant, especially for so many female teachers. They not only have to now take online classes sitting at home, but many of them are either mothers or daughters-in-law, or of course wives, or they have lots of responsibilities way beyond teaching, way beyond their work. And this time of being at home is actually bringing in a lot of stress. So what should they do? How should they multitask? How should they manage things? Can you tell us something about this?
Yeah, actually, this is a great question because some people have actually become more busy in this lockdown and more stressed out than in normal times. But there is one word for this. The answer is prioritization. Prioritization means that we give more time and more importance to those things which really matter. So let's list out the things which we do in the day. Let's say there are 12 things that we do. Out of those, if 2 things really matter, let us apportion more time for them, 1 hour each for sitting with the family and talking whatever you want to, or whatever it is that really, really matters, for reading that book which you have to read. And the emergency situations or the running around and the compulsions, they obviously will find time for themselves. So give priority to things which really matter. That will de-stress you, and things which make you happy. So if you cannot wake up early and read, sit at night for a little while, or watch that old movie which you always wanted to watch, or put on the music. Music is a great stress buster, as you know. So the kinds of music you love, have it on the whole day, playing on your phone, playing on your computer, and maybe do some art, maybe take some pictures, maybe start writing something, poetry, which you always wanted to but never could. So these are the things which will help.
I think absolutely, you're so true, Vivek. I personally have started yoga, for example. It's really helping me. I'm also reading some old books which were gathering dust on my bookshelf, and it's been just an amazing last few weeks. Of course, speaking to wonderful audiences like yours. Bhuvana is asking, she's saying, it's not just about teachers, but it's also about students. And the lockdown might actually be longer than what we anticipate. How do we manage the mental health? Of course, there is an academic side to it, but students can get very nervous. So how do we, as teachers, manage the mental health of our students? So would love to hear your answer, then I'd love to give my thoughts after this.
Yes, Atul. Actually, there are 2 reasons why children get stressed out. And one of the reasons, unfortunately, are parents. And we as teachers are not as impactful on our children's minds as parents are. So if parents keep stressing out and keep criticizing children or comparing them with others, we need to reach out to parents through notes, through videos, through whatever messages we can, and tell these parents that, parents, please understand that the children are already stressed out. They have peer pressure, they have competition pressure. If you are adding to that pressure, it's better to keep quiet. If you are removing that pressure or reducing that pressure, then you speak to them. So parents are the one reason. The second is that the students are uncertain about their future. They think we may not get admission in this particular place, we may not get that particular career which we want. So we have to counsel students when we teach them or talk to them that, students, life is the bigger picture. If you don't get admission in this particular college, life is not going to end. If you don't get 95% marks, it's not the end of the world. So I have a quote, very humbly, I must tell that quote to you. Life is not about marks, life is about making a mark. So tell them that life is a big journey to make a mark. Don't focus on only what you have to do right now. And if you do your best, whatever you get, accept that. Yes, Atul, please add what you...
I think a wonderful answer. One of the things which I'm doing with our university students, Vivek, is first of all, Yes, teaching is very important, learning is important, academics is important, but we're also encouraging students to go beyond the textbook. We're encouraging them, first of all, to start exploring the power of the web. There is so we're giving, as teachers, we're giving projects to them which are typically beyond the textbook. So that's one way for them to explore. A small example would be even a high school student, I would say, a 10th student or an 11th student of science, or why science. As teachers, you could give them an assignment to say, tell us, find out and calculate the distance between the sun and the earth. Come back with a calculation. They can actually go on the web, they can do that analysis, and come back with an answer. And it's extremely satisfying when you do that. There's an extreme amount of learning that happens. So I would encourage, some of you as teachers to, think outside the box. There are lots of things that you wanted to experiment as teachers, which you could not in the conventional way. So do that today. Many of you are using Zoom or other forms of reaching out to your students. Just experiment. And I think the last thing we're doing is we are basically telling our students, yes, examinations are important, but we're there to help you. And just do not worry right now about, if you're not doing that well academically, we are there to support you, help you, we'll give you many more options to succeed. So giving them that comfort also, I think, is very, very important as far as students are concerned. So one part, of course, is the parent side, but parents are parents, and I know how it is being a parent myself. But I think as teachers, we can slightly assuage the feelings of our students. A couple of more questions, Vivek, before we sign off. Anurag is asking us a question. He's saying, when things are not going right, how do you keep positive thoughts?
Yeah, I saw that question from Anurag, and I was also thinking about it. You see, it is unfortunate that many a time we are facing problems which are insurmountable, seemingly, which are seemingly very, very difficult. And things are not going right at many times in our life. These speed breakers keep coming, these bumps keep coming. But there are periods when things are going right. So when we have those breaks, when things are going right, we need to prepare ourselves mentally for tough times to come ahead. When we're in the thick of things, it is very difficult to prepare ourselves because we are already in that problem. We are stressed out with that problem. So when I listen to the talks of monks or Swamijis who speak on such subjects, they say, don't overthink a problem. So if you analyze and keep thinking about the same problem again and again, you're bound to get stressed out. So try and refresh your mind by diverting it to something else. Do your best to tackle that problem, but don't give it too much weightage all day long. So give it a few hours or a few minutes of thinking, and then get on to something else which is more pleasant, more creative, more positive. That will help you to deal with that problem better. And yes, pray to God, He will help you.
I think wonderful. Vivek, before we close, and please ask any questions, audience, if you have any more. You've written the book, which is a wonderful book, which I have read at least 2 times now, Finding Success Within. And you've got 52 ways to find success. Tell us about your top 3. What are the top 3 things that we should tell our students very specifically, or even our children, or even ourselves? What are your 3 favorites in terms of finding success within?
Yeah, thank you, Atul, for pointing that out. In fact, my book is available on Kindle right now. It's not available through Amazon delivery because, deliveries are not happening, but it will be available soon. It's just been launched before the lockdown. And there are 52 life skills, of which the top 3, which I mentioned in an earlier session also, I'd like to repeat them. These are creativity, calmness, and communication. So these 3 skills, if children have, if students have, if young people have, they'll be very successful. So working on your creativity, if young people, especially even older people, they work on their creativity, life becomes more fulfilling. There may be something which you had inside you, which you couldn't take out, or which you couldn't exploit, which you could not even explore. So if you were a singer and you stopped singing, go back to singing. It really comes as a stress buster. If you were a writer or a poet but didn't have time, come back to that. And for young people, the more they become all-rounderish, the more they get into sports, writing, singing, art, the more successful they will be as chartered accountants or doctors or whatever. The second C, calmness, as I said in my talk, work on calmness, be calmly active and actively calm. Calm people are more creative anyway. They think better. They are more cheerful. And the third C, communication. It is a lifelong process to improve your communication skills. I was not always a speaker. Atul was not always a speaker, I'm sure. We improved. We kept speaking gradually to audiences. We kept getting more confidence. Public speaking skills, maybe one day we'll do a session on that. How you retain your calmness on stage, how you communicate effectively without going overboard, how you know when to stop and when to pause. There are many facets. So improve your public speaking skills, improve your writing skills. These are all these three C's. I'll repeat: creativity, calmness, communication.
You've hit the nail on the head, Vivek. When I go and speak to my students or other students across universities, and I'm principally a university professor, so I speak more to college students, I always tell them that if you go around tracking every successful person on Mother Earth, everyone, whether it's a Steve Jobs or a Narendra Modi or even a Donald Trump, all of them are special. At least they will have one or two very special hobbies beyond their work. So finding that hobby is very, very critical for success. So I think with this, we will come to an end. It's 45 minutes. We've had a beautiful audience. We've had a wonderful speaker in the form of Vivek Atray. Truly, truly, thank you, Vivek. You're always a friend of Shoolini, a friend of the masses, a friend of teachers, definitely. You're a teacher at heart. So before I sign off, I would just say, please be safe. We are going through unprecedented times. These are difficult times. Please be calm, as Vivek said, and hopefully would love to visit your school someday. Hopefully you'll be open very soon, and hopefully I would love to come, and Vivek would love to come to the Noida International Public School. I'm sure it's a beautiful school. We'd love to visit you, and we'll also love to invite all of you to Shoolini, your students, your faculty and others, your teachers. So once again, wish you a great day, and talk soon, meet soon. Any last thoughts, Vivek, before we sign off?
No, I just want to thank you, Atul, for inviting me to speak here, and thank you, listeners. And stay connected. It's a connected world. On LinkedIn is the best place to connect with me and ask me anything more you would like to. Atul, thanks once again.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. Bye-bye.